Hey everybody, and welcome to my studio. I would love for you to check out my link tree for all the places you can find me. I've got some new platforms. That's one of the things we're going to talk about today. And I also got my new art podcast, which you can find right here on YouTube as well. That is under the podcast section or my playlist. It's called Art for Everyone with Carini and Vinny. My buddy Vinny has no background in art. I am a full time professional artist, and we bring on guests to bring art back to the people and talk about it at all levels because you don't have to have a background in art to join the conversation or to enjoy and appreciate art. If it makes you feel something, then you should be a part of the conversation because we want to know what you're feeling and what's going on with you. But today I want to talk about how you just really need to be true to yourself. And I know that we hear that all the time, but it's fucking hard, isn't it? It's hard to be true to yourself because we have all these rules, all these regulations, all these obstacles in front of us. And for me as an artist, I've been running into my own. I'm coming off a traumatic brain injury. The market hasn't been great this year because of the economy. I live in the most expensive city in the United States. I fucking love San Diego, but Jesus Christ, I built my model on sustainability and cost of living just keeps going up. Like I'm paying double what I did on my apartment from the time that I moved in. So even though I paid off my student loans 10 years early, even though I paid off my car, even though I don't do credit cards, even though I live a simple life where the same thing every day, don't go out, don't party, don't drink, don't do anything like that. It's hard to fucking keep a roof over my head. Like I'm starving some days. And I will always be a starving artist because I'm always going to be hungry. I'm always going to be passionate. But, a little sustenance now and then is nice. But when I run into those obstacles, like I have recently, it's important to feel that. It really is. It is important to feel that thing. You don't want to dismiss it. You want to acknowledge what you're feeling so that you can understand it. And once you understand it, then you got to decide what you're going to do with it. And as an artist, I understand that I can find creative solutions. That's my blessing. Is I'm a creative person, so when life throws me obstacles, I can find creative solutions. And so that's what I've had to do recently. So with the economy getting hit, with my brain not working the way that it did, me struggling to get work, sales not coming in, all that stuff, I said, you know what? I've had my period of being down. I'm pissed off now, and when I get pissed off, I get motivated. And so I decided to start the podcast, and I said, you know what? We're going to find a way to connect with artists, and we're really going to support the artists that want to support us. So feeding the people that feed me. So feed the people in your life that feed you. Now, I want to take care of everybody. I really do. But so often I deplete myself to the point there's nothing left of me. And when I hit my down period recently, I realized that a lot of the people that I had fed were willing to sit there and watch me starve. And so I said, you know what? I got to start being more conscious of the people that I'm feeding. And so I kind of looked at all the things I was doing. I said, okay, we're going to make some changes with the way that I'm working off of social media and everything like that. We're going to start working off of more subscription based models where on Instagram, Facebook, I can have subscriptions. I'm going to start an OnlyFans page. So I have started an OnlyFans page. So three places people can subscribe. And so basically now when people subscribe to one of those pages, I can provide them with that artistic guidance or mentorship that they're looking for. Like, hey, what paint do I use for this? Hey, how do you do this technique? Hey, how do you suggest that I start pricing my work? So I'm kind of trying to be more strategic about the way that I go about this. And I find that that's a necessity as an artist. So with the podcast and with OnlyFans now, because that's the new platform, I'm really kind of enjoying it because the reason for starting the OnlyFans is because I felt like I couldn't be myself on Facebook or Instagram. And not that I do anything super inappropriate, but I like to tell jokes. I like to have fun. Sometimes I want to swear. Sometimes I want to be serious and talk to kids, but sometimes I want to talk to adults. Sometimes I want to talk to both. I just am who I am, and I want to be able to organically and freely be who I am at all times without the restraints. And so I get it. There's protocols for what you can do and what you should do and shouldn't do in certain situations. But on Facebook and Instagram, I noticed that when I would do collaborations with some of my friends, and I would maybe put paint on their back or something like that, and I would post it, and it didn't show anything inappropriate, it would get flagged for things like sexual solicitation, sexual exploitation. I would talk about mental health, and I would get flagged for community violations. Meanwhile, somebody trolled me last week and went into my inbox to troll me, and I said something back, then I blocked them. They went around and found one of my other pages and decided to message me there. So just absolutely harassing me, and I flagged them and reported them. And Instagram got back to me as they always do and said, we don't see anything there. We can't do anything about it. So, I get flagged for egregious violations for abstract art and trying to support expression. Meanwhile, people that are, trying to diminish my health and wellness and tear me down, and nothing happens there. So, I accepted this is what it is. That's how it works. That's the system that's in place. I probably can't change that. So, what are we going to do? So, I'm just more conscious about where I give the energy, where I give the time. And I think that OnlyFans, it gives me a platform where I can do all the things that I want to do. I can share things that are a little bit spicier. I can swear here and there. I can just kind of not feel like I'm contained. And when you feel like you're not contained, you can become the best version of yourself. Now, it's easy to get contained these days by friends, family, our jobs. Like, so many people have their job, they go home, they want to share, how they feel about certain things, and then you go into work and, oh, you're in trouble because you said this on your personal time. Like, your job is taking complete control over your life. Like, you go there so that you can have your life, but you can't even have your life. You basically just have the job because these jobs are telling you what you can do and can't do on your free time, or when you can have your free time, or, oh, we need you to come in on this day. We need, like, I get it. There are jobs that require certain things, but I didn't go to a job because that was my life. I went there so that I could have my life. And that's one of the reasons that I ultimately decided, you know what? The way for me to become the best version of myself is to make sure that I leave that and that I pursue my own dream, because nobody's ever going to care about your dream as much as you. So I'm either working for my dream or I'm working for somebody else's. And so when I hit my obstacles with my accident, I had to look at the situation and say, well, am I willing to go work for somebody else again and work towards somebody else's dream because of the situation I was put in by somebody else? And I looked at it and I was like, oh, hell no. I will die working for my dream before I ever consider going back to that. So one of the best things I could ever do was to burn the bridges and just to be obstinate, to be somebody that has an absolute refusal to ever go back to that life not meant for me. And even though sometimes I struggle, even though sometimes life is difficult, I am exponentially happier at my lowest than I ever was at my happiest in that life. So I'm telling you, dreams are not easy, but they are very simple. And you ultimately have to decide, are you willing to risk everything for your dream, or are you going to risk everything for the thing that you don't even want? So I would encourage you to go after your dream, whatever it may be. It is possible. It may seem impossible, but it is indeed possible. It's going to be hard work, but it is simple. Not easy, but simple. And as soon as you start moving into being your true self, your authentic self, without the restraints, without the restrictions, without the shackles, that's going to be the best version of yourself. That's what's going to attract the people you need in your life. And so, as I'm moving out of that darkness of my life from the past couple months, I'm already seeing this major shift. Like, I'm loving doing this podcast. And if you haven't seen it yet, I hope you check it out. It is so easy to find. It is on here. We do the live feeds right here on YouTube. But I got all my other art talks and stuff here too. So, but it's going to be fun. We're going to bring on more guests. We're going to talk about art. We're going to talk about life. We're going to bring on people with a variety of perspectives and experience. We're going to bring on vendors and whatnot. And on OnlyFans, I'm going to be doing the art tips, the tutorials, all that stuff is just going to be a little spicier. So if the spicy isn't your thing, I totally get it. But if you consider checking it out, I'd certainly appreciate it. I've also got the options for you. Like I said, I'm on Facebook, I am on Instagram, I am on Twitter, I am on TikTok, I'm on everything. So find me where you want to find me. But I encourage you, I implore you, find yourself. It's not easy, but I would love to be your guide and to help you find yourself. I am not trying to influence anybody to be like me or to be anything. I am not an influencer. The only thing I want to do is help you to find your voice and who you are, whoever that may be. So we don't have to agree about everything. You don't have to try to be like me. I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be like you. And if you are honest in what you do, there is beauty in that, however it looks. And the second that you decide to start going after your dream and to be your true self, you are already successful. So I hope you have a good day. Stay safe, be well. Check out my link tree, and I'll see you next time.